Hey there, good morning everybody. This is Magnus with Bubble Wraps, and I'm going to talk today about something I'm pretty excited about. It's a new Jumbotron 360-degree wrap for a SuperChexx Pro Jumbotron. This is something I've been working on for a couple of months with Brett Musgrave, and we're both pretty excited about the possibilities for this. Obviously, right here in front of me is a disassembled, or detached, I should say, SuperChexx Jumbotron. And, there's always been some, good flat surfaces here to do graphics and decals. For example, here, like I said, this is a decal set for Mariucci Arena, Minnesota Gophers one. But everything you notice, everything's an individual cutout decal, which looks nice and all. But this new wrap allows us to pretty much cover 360 degrees around the Jumbotron. Any flat surface covering everything, so you can really do some neat designs. And really kind of carry your theme, up to a little higher level and carry it through your whole Jumbotron, as opposed to just, some of these flat surfaces. So I'm going to take these old decals off. And we're going to apply the new one we did. So obviously, first thing to do this, you're going to have to remove the Jumbotron from your check. So just do it very carefully. Obviously, there's the ribbon pin. It gets plugged in this side. Disconnect the ribbon cable first. Just be careful not to bend any of these pins. And then there's a single, through the top of the dome, there's a single hex screw that holds it. I believe it's a 5/32. So either with a hex driver or an Allen wrench, you can just simply unscrew that and remove the whole Jumbotron. So we're going to get with the new Jumbotron wrap. It's actually going to come in 4 pieces. Kind of did that. We could do it in 2, but for ease of installation, because a couple of delicate parts here, it's probably easier to do it in 4, so we did it in 4. So there's going to be two thin strips, and that is going to cover, this top banner area around the top of the Jumbotron, and then there are 2 separate contour cutouts that are going to cover the rest. So one for, notice on this Jumbotron, there's what I like to call, there's a short side, and there's the long side. So the wrap around the actual Jumbotron portion itself is separated into 2. First thing to do is just kind of prep this. The individual strips for the top banner are just cut out rectangular. You don't have to do any prep for those. For the two cutouts for the Jumbotron themselves, since like I said, they are contour cuts, so you're not going to have to do much, if any, trimming at all for these. But just they're going to come with a little protective layer of tape over them. Just this is a pretty thin cut there, so I just didn't put a little thin layer of tape on it when they print them, just to protect it during shipping. So first thing you're going to do, we're going to want to peel off this protective layer, and some of them are pretty sticky, so you just want to make sure when you're lifting it up, just try and hold down the sticker itself, just so it doesn't come up with it, because until you're ready for it, you want that to stay on the backing. So I just do it nice and gentle. Hold that sticker down as you peel off this masking tape layer. And pay particular attention, be extra careful once you get to this cutout section. So again, this is a pretty thin section of decal material, so you don't want to go ripping away at this layer, and you don't want to risk ripping that little thin section there. But it comes off, once you get it started, it comes off pretty easily. All right, there we go. So there's one half of the Jumbotron section. We'll get the other half here. All right, there we go. We got our 4 pieces pretty much prepped. So we're going to start with the 2 for that go around the top section of the Jumbotron. You notice there's 4 screws that hold this top cap on, 2 on each side of the long Jumbotron sides. We're going to need, ideally, you don't have to remove them, but it'd look a little weird. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those 2 screws. That way we can get the decal on nice and flat, and then we'll put the screws on. And these are actually a little star drive Torx bit. I believe they're a T2 Torx bit. We'll get these right out. So 4 screws, 2 on that side, do on this side. So we'll get those. I'm just going to carefully remove the top. And there's the innards of our Jumbotron. I'm just going to set that aside out of the way. Put a towel down on this table. I don't want to scratch at the screens or the LED lighting down there, so that might not be a bad idea. So the way this is set up, you notice from the top down, there's your Jumbotron. And it's actually not square corners. You notice each corner's got this little 45-degree beveled edge. So what I'm going to refer to is a short side and a long side. This is obviously the short side of the Jumbotron, and this is the long side of the Jumbotron. So these stickers or decals are designed to start at the far beveled corner of the short side. So I'm going to start the decal right up there, and it's going to wrap around and end up at the opposite beveled corner on the far short side. So that's going to be one, and then the second stick decal is going to start where my thumb right here is, and it's going to cover the remaining distance. So there's going to be a little bit of overlap, just that way if the dimensions are a little bit off or any different, they shouldn't be, but that way you've got a nice clean seam without any gaps. So, all right, so we're going to peel this off, and we're just going to want to make sure everything is nice and centered. So we're going to start on the short side. I'm going to try and center up my graphics here. Right about there. Going to bring it around the corner. And that may be just a little long. My University of Minnesota there isn't quite centered up, so I'm going to start a little bit further on this corner. We'll go with that. And to right there. All right, that seems pretty equidistant off each corner. So then I got pretty much where I want it. Maybe make it a little more even over here. Again, you can lift it up and replace it to get rid of any air bubbles that you might have got trapped in there. All right, so there's one half. Got this little tag in here. It's just a tad too long. Could leave it, not going to affect anything, but just to make it nice and flat on the opposite side, take a little scissors, just trim it. All right, so that's one half. Second half is going to be exactly the same, and that is going to start again on this short edge. So we'll start peeling it back. Try and get our text roughly centered. Tack it down lightly. And again, it's going to come out just a little long, so we'll peel it back up. There we go. And again, that little tab end is going to just wrap around the corner. And like I said, it overlaps the first tab, but you can't see a seam. I'll flatten it out, make sure there's no bubbles in there. And you got this little tag in here, which again, we could just leave, but got my scissors again. I'm just going to cut that section off, push it down. All right, there you go. There's your top half. So I'll set this aside. And now we will do the Jumbotron wrap. You'll notice on the Jumbotron, these two sheets are a little bit different. You notice the notch, the cutout here. This one's a little bit deeper. So this decal is the one that goes on the side where the ribbon attaches. So if you notice, the pins there for the ribbon, it's a much deeper cutout. So that's for this side. And then this is what I call the non-ribbon side with the smaller cutout. So we'll start with that side. So these again are designed, they're going to, the little tab is going to start on this beveled edge and wrap all the way around to the far beveled edge. And then the next decal will start there and wrap the rest of the way. So there's going to be some overlap on these two beveled corners. So on this one, since the Jumbotron is already cut out, I like to start with the Jumbotron side and just make sure that lines up, and then we'll go work to either side of the Jumbotron cutout. So I'm going to start peeling from this side. Again, it's a pretty sturdy vinyl material, but again, just be careful. This is a pretty thin section, so you don't want to yank or twist it too hard and risk ripping it. And I'm just going to start with that. I don't want the rest of this tacky stuff folding over and sticking to itself. So I'm just going to, now that I got that part peeled back, I'm just going to cut this backing in half there so it's not in my way. And I can just work with this half, and I got something kind of half beefy there to hang on to. So I'm going to do and try and line this up with the Jumbotron cutout first. Get it started and work out any air bubbles later. Alright, so there's that side. We'll just move that, wrap that tab around the edge, and now we'll peel off the rest of this. Bend around the corner, line it up with the notch, and wrap it around a corner. So there's one half of our Jumbotron. Now we'll do the other half. Same thing, we're going to start by matching up the cutout. And same thing with this side. That's better. And we'll remove the rest of the backing and get this last short side and we'll be done. All right, once you've gone through and worked out the bubbles and wrinkles as best as you can, you can put the top back on. Remember, we took out the screws, so there's a couple screw holes in there. So I'm just gonna poke a small hole through the vinyl where those screw holes are. You can feel right where they are. It's just even a toothpick, or an X-Acto blade, just to poke a hole through them so we can get this thing screwed back together. Don't have to cut them out entirely, just enough so you can get the screw back through. Alright, back on top there, grab our screws. And we're back together, so again, give it the once around here, make sure everything's compressed down now a little bit harder, make sure everything stays put. And same with an ice wrap. If you have any particularly stubborn wrinkles or areas, you can actually take a hairdryer to it, heat the material up a little bit. That'll help stretch it out a little bit. But once you're happy with the results, there you go. You've got your completely 100% wrapped SuperChexx Pro Jumbotron ready to reinstall. So, all right, at this point, the Jumbotron is installed back on the dome. Give a quick walk around here. You can see the all-new, completely custom 360-degree Jumbotron wrap. Can be tailored to suit any theme of your choosing for your own table.